Hello, BookTube. Cheers. Hits the spot. Thought I'd do a reading update, a cottage update, a little bit of bookish chatter. This is my little writing room that if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the progress and lack thereof, depending on where you think I should be by now. We've been in the house, our new house, for a month today. So we were emptying out the old house, moving things here, getting this place prepared, and straightening up the old farmhouse. I had a lot of stuff there. We got rid of quite a bit. Not wholesale, but we refined what we have. Sometimes I find that, we were at the farmhouse for quite a long time, and we piled up some stuff that probably should have been winnowed out years ago. We say we will not do that here, but who knows? We'll do our best. And one of the things that got winnowed down a bit was some books. Needed doing. What really took a hit was reading. So we've been back and forth with my truck, bringing stuff, and now that we're here, it's getting everything prepared. It's a 190-year-old cottage. It's a Greek revival on the front of a Federalist building. It's sort of a hybrid because it came along at the time when the styles were changing. And like any 190-year-old house, it has challenges, although it's really solid. And a lot of things are aesthetic or not that big a deal. So I do have projects lined up for the winter and all that. But I did today finally settle down, do some reading, finish the book that those of you who remember the title will remember I started a long time ago. I tend to have piles of books everywhere, and I'll go to them as I will. That has not been possible for the last couple months because of the move. But I did finally finish this. It's Rick Atkinson, The British Are Coming, The War for America, Lexington to Princeton, 1775 to 1777. So it's going to be a trilogy of books about the Revolution. He did one about World War II, which was excellent. Came to this with great hopes. At first, when I started reading, I thought, well, like many of these survey histories that covered, well, much of a continent and then an entire war, I thought it was going to smooth over things in such a way that we'd lose a lot of detail. Gladly and happily, I found out I'm wrong. Brilliant narrative. Great detail about campaigns that I think I've been reading about the Revolutionary War for a long time. Great details about campaigns that I'm familiar with, details about things that maybe I had overlooked. Disturbing. The British treatment of prisoners is pretty horrific, and now would get different kind of attention than it got then. The battles are just brutal, and Atkinson doesn't spare details, and some of those details are quite horrific. The other thing I liked about it is its assessment of the characters, the players, their talents, their personalities, their abilities. Well, this is the first volume, and George Washington comes in for some pretty harsh criticism. He was not a great battlefield commander or tactical general, though he had his moments. And the book ends with Trenton and Princeton and all that, and the route from when Washington first appears in Boston and all the terrible decisions in New York and all that. He seems to be learning on the job. I don't think he's ever going to be a great battlefield commander, say like Benedict Arnold, who's by far his superior, and some others were also. And with the advice of some lieutenants and underlings, he managed to avoid some even worse errors. So I thought that was well done without being just a slash job. It's just saying, you know, he had talents. They weren't necessarily on the battlefield, or at least controlling the battlefield. So that's been interesting to watch. So you get the battles, you get the common soldier, the officers. They each get pretty decent coverage and understanding coverage. You know, it's one thing for an aristocrat with tons of slaves to come up to New England and say, you know, you guys are just a bunch of tradesmen. You're not soldiers. Well, that's, you know, why are you going home? Your enlistment's over. Why don't you re-enlist? Well, you've got people to take care of your Mount Vernon. Well, I got a wife and kids. You know, there was a disconnect early on, but you see gradually that Washington is starting to identify with some of his foot soldiers and all that. So that's fun to watch, and I think it's well painted. So this first volume. As far as I know, none of the others are out yet. This was from last year, 2019. I would recommend not just to somebody who's starting out with the Revolutionary War, although it's great, exciting reading, and this would be a good book to start with. There's been many, many books, but I actually would say, even if you're a die-hard reader about the American Revolution, that there's a lot to be said for this volume. So hopefully the next two will come out and I'll get to read them. So, and then with that, my favorite magazine in the world, Wood and Boat. Just read a few things in here. So I've got quite a bit of this to read and enjoy. Here's a piece on restoring a 1926 racing schooner. So it's always full of this sort of stuff. In the beginning, here's shop tools and how to care for them and use them. So they always have those little guides there on that. And goings on about. And at the end, they have a section where they tell you what people have launched. Here, let me see if I can give you an idea what that looks like. Obviously, ads for items for sale. Let me see here. I know they have it. Things is turning these pages. I think they call it launching. Oh, this is brokers. I guess we don't have the launchings right now. Or if they do, I can't find them. I'm not going to search all day for them. So yeah, I got to read this. I was going through my files, and so NaNoWriMo's coming up. This is my old manuscript. Pretty good size from last year. What was it? So book one, Encounter. So I made it through NaNoWriMo, got the requisite numbers of words and then some. Been trying to decide what I'm going to do this year. I should be settled in the house enough so that, it's almost October, right? So that's Preptober and then November. So I haven't decided yet. I've gone back and forth. Do I write thriller or do I write a Western? I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and if I tell myself I'm going to do something halfway through October, I'll change my mind, but that's part of the fun of it. So we enjoyed very much having Steve and Frida here. Miss them already. That was fun. I'm glad so many of you reached out and talked to me about that a bit. We enjoyed very much on Steve's channel the Zoom chat with Jason Harrigan. That was great fun to talk to somebody all the way across the ocean, the North Atlantic, and sit here back and forth, have a conversation. There's a little lag here and then, but that's nothing. When I was a young man, I could barely, that was Star Trek stuff there. So that was great fun. I'm still settling in. Still have some furniture to bring upstairs, and still, adapting to life in a new home, but it's been great fun. So with that, I'm going to have to go pick another book to read. I probably won't pick tonight. I'll probably finish up with the Wood and Boat magazine. but it's onward and upward with the reading, and I hope everyone's doing well, and good to talk to you. Thank you, BookTube.